19, 20, and 21 are graphing a square root function. And keep in mind that the part underneath the square root has to be greater than or equal to 0. So you're going to have a whole side of your graph where you don't have anything drawn on it. What you want to do is you want to take the part under the square root and set them equal to the first 4 perfect squares, because it's going to want the end point and then 3 points after that. So I'm going to take the x plus 2, which is the part under the square root, and set it equal to 0, which is your smallest perfect square. And then 1. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. And 3 squared is 9. That's going to help you find what values you want to use to substitute into your table so that you can find points that come out nice on your graph. So here, I'm going to minus my 2. Here I'm going to minus my 2. Here I'm going to minus my 2. And here I'm going to minus my 2. So in my table, I'm going to use -2, -1, a +2, and a +7. That's going to give me values that come out nice so I can plot my points and do my graph. So, -2 plus 2 is 0. The square root of 0 is 0. And 0 times the -2 in front still is 0. So, -2, 0 is going to be the end point of my graph. Then I'm going to put in the -1. -1 plus 2 is 1. The square root of 1 is still 1. 1 times the -2 in front is -2. So -1, -2. I'm going to put in the 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. 2 times the -2 would be -4. So 2 is going to go down to -4. Then I'm going to do one more. 7 plus 2 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. 3 times -2 is -6. So 7 is going to be at -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you hit the graph button then, it's going to start here, curve down, and it's going to shoot off that way for the rest of my graph. And so that's what my square root function is going to look like. It's going to have an end point and only go in one direction because all the square roots of the negatives are undefined. So number 20, same kind of thing. I want to take the part that's under the square root, which is the 1 minus x, set it equal to my first 4 perfect squares. So 0, 1, 2 squared is 4, and 3 squared is 9. I'm always going to use 0, 1, 4, and 9 because those are my first 4 perfect squares. I'm going to solve these, and so I'm going to solve this one. I'm just going to minus my 1 and divide by -1. So a negative divided by a negative makes it a positive 1. So here, I'm going to minus my 1, which is 0, and 0 divided by -1 is still 0. Here I'm going to minus my 1, which is 3, but divide, so -3. Here I'm going to minus my 1, which is 8, divided by -1, so -8. So in my table, the x values I'm going to use, 1, 0, -3, and -8. So 1 minus 1 is 0, square root of 0 is 0, and 0 times 3, still 0. So 1, 0. Putting a 0 in there. 1 minus 0 is 1, square root of 1 is 1, 1 times 3 is 3. So 0, 3 is on my graph. 1 minus a -3. When I minus a negative, I'm going to add the 3, so I'm going to get 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So -3 is up to 6. And then -8. Again, 1 minus a -8 means I'm going to do 1 plus 8, which is 9. Square root of 9 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So -8 is up to 9. And so my graph is going to start here, and it's actually going to curve and go this way. We'll something sort of like that. And 21, the whole entire thing is underneath the square root. So negative 2x minus 3 we want to equal 0. Negative 2x minus 3 we want to equal 1. Negative 2x minus 3 we want to equal 4. And negative 2x minus 3 we want to equal 9. And then we're going to solve those so we can find the x values in our table. So here we're going to add our 3. And so x is going to equal negative 3 halves, 3 over negative 2. Here I have to add my 3, which is 4. 4 over negative 2 would be negative 2. Here I'm going to add my 3, which is 7. So I'm going to get 7 over negative 2, or negative 7 halves. And here I'm going to add my 3, which is 12. 12 over negative 2 is negative 6. So negative 3 halves, negative 2, negative 7 halves, and negative 6. So putting my negative 3 halves in there. Negative 2 times negative 3 halves minus 3. So the 2's are going to cancel. Negative and a negative is a positive. 3 minus 3 is 0. The square root of 0, 0. Then I'm going to do my negative 2. That's a nice whole number. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. Then I'm going to do my negative 2 times my negative 7 halves. The 2's again will cancel. A negative and a negative is a positive. So I get 7 minus 3, which is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. Then negative 2 times negative 6 is a positive 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So on this one, I'm going to have to use that plot point tool because I've got those fractions. So I'm going to have to type my ordered pairs in. I'm going to just estimate it. Negative 1.5 is at 0. Negative 2 is at positive 1. Negative 3.5 is up at 2. And negative 6 is at 3. So this graph is going to look something sort of like that. So whole key to graphing my square root functions is to take the part underneath the square root. If it's on the outside, we don't have to worry about it. But the part under the square root, set it to our first 4 perfect squares so that we end up with nice answers that we can enter in on Alex.